What's up, everyone? This is Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and thank you for joining me for another video. This is Business Mondays, and as a Minister of Beauty, I share the Bible. That is business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So this isn't my typical video, but I feel that it's something that is very necessary to talk about. I don't care how many people talk about it. If there's a lot of people talking about it, it is really important, and I know that not everyone listens to everyone. There are some things that need to be heard from specific people, and because I have a story to share and I've been through a number of things, I wanted to talk about this to just really help you to focus on this and know how important it is, and don't neglect it. So I wanted to talk about how to, if you need to, raise your credit score so that you can get access to capital quickly for your small business. Now guys, if you don't already know, I am a small business owner, more specifically a beauty business entrepreneur. I also created a skincare line, and I have more about that in the description box, so you can check out that by going to the link and purchasing some skincare products, and you can get your glow on just like I do. No makeup, just lips and lashes and a little bit of brow powder. But anyway, all right, so let's get into this. Now, I have been in business since 2008. It has been a long journey. I've seen my ups with credit and I've seen my downs with credit. I have had credit where it was like people were calling me saying, do you need money? Because here's the thing, especially when you're in business and this is what you want and this is why you want to do this, and pay attention to making sure your credit is on the up and up. When you don't really need it, that's when the banks and the other financiers, they want to give it to you. When you don't need it is when they want to give it to you. But when you need it, that's when they kind of repel and they don't want to help you. I'm sorry, we can't help you, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's really true. So you attract more to you when you have good credit in business versus when you don't. And you don't want to be in a position where you're begging people saying, please, I need help. I can't go on. I can't continue to operate my business. I need capital so that I can pay my staff and pay my, you know, my bills and all those different things. And then it's like, should you even still really be in business? Now, I experienced this when I had a lot of clientele stolen from my business from a former employee. And that situation, it really caused a downward spiral in my personal and business credit, because when this person did that, it took away a lot of the revenue that I was used to having coming in to pay the bills, you know, to pay the bills and have that left over. So it didn't happen immediately because I had savings, I had credit and all of those different things that I could utilize. But once it got to a point where it was just like, I couldn't really do it anymore, it caused a lot of issues. And although now I'm still working to get out of it, but I'm definitely not in the place where I was back in 2000, late 2018 and throughout 2019. I can say that credit is essential, and I worked really hard with everything that I had, all of the, you know, work that I put into my business and the team that I have where we're, you know, still serving clients. And, you know, we worked right out of the pandemic, and I continued to work even when I didn't have the amount of staff that I used to have. I continued to move forward, and I refuse to allow anybody to destroy me. I'm going to call my own shots. And so I refused. I did not file for bankruptcy because I said, not that I don't believe in it, and I do believe that it's there for certain purposes and reasons, and some people do deserve a fresh start. And I would tell some of the creditors, I said, if anyone deserves a fresh start, I do, because I didn't put myself into this position. I was not reckless with my credit and my money and not paying my bills. I had literally overnight over $100,000 in revenue taken from me. So I went through it. So I'm going to get off of that. I'm still here, I'm still standing, and I praise God that I am, and that I am, I'm making it. And I'm going to be better for it because I also do believe in harvest time and seed time. I've sowed some amazing seeds, and so I know that I'm going to reap an amazing harvest. And so let's get back into why you want to focus on your credit and what you need to do in order to get yourself to the place where you can use other people's money besides just using your own to source your business for the resources that you need. So on the screen, I have the breakdown of what your credit score, the percentages of what is utilized and what is viewed to make up your credit score. And at the top is payment history. And that was one of the things that really hit me hard because all it takes is a couple of late payments being reported to the credit bureaus to really knock your credit score down hundreds of points. It is crazy. So the first one is pay your bills on time. And that may sound like common sense, but here's what I really mean by that. Look at your statement dates for the things that are being reported to the credit bureaus, okay? And if your statement date is a specific day, for example, say your statement date is the 7th and your payment is due by the 4th, you want to make sure that you've made your payment before that next statement date is done and that next statement goes out, because yeah, you may have a 30-day grace period, but if you're making your payments after the statement date, that previous month they're reporting to the credit bureaus, it looks like you're not really paying your bills when you should be paying them. So don't ride out that grace period. Pay your bills on time. And that gets me into the second one, and that is check your balances and pay those bills before that statement date closes. Now, I'll tell you something that I have done before, and if you're in a pinch and this is something that you can do, then you do what you got to do until you don't have to do it anymore. I don't believe in robbing Peter to pay Paul, but if it's something that you kind of have to do for the sake of the time being until you can get out of that space, then it's sometimes what you have to do. So if you have a credit card that has a cash advance limit on it and you really don't have that money to just pay your card off completely, check with the credit card company to see what the threshold is for the amount of money that you can utilize as a cash advance. So for example, if you have a $5,000 credit limit and you don't have $5,000 to pay off that credit card, but you do have the money to at least just pay it until that statement closes. So if your payment is due on the 4th and the statement date is on the 7th, pay that $5,000 credit card off, or pay $4,995 and leave a $5 balance. And actually that may be better, and we may talk about that later. When that statement closes and you get your next statement, it would usually be on the 8th if your payment is due on the 4th. Then you can just take that money as a cash advance and use it. But don't do this if you can't pay that card back the next month. The reason I'm saying this is because that card company is going to report to the credit bureaus that your balance has decreased. And that is going to eventually help your score to increase as well. So when the balance decreases, that is reported to the credit bureau, it is going to help to increase your credit score. And that is something that I did for a little minute until I was able to just pay it and didn't have to worry about taking that cash advance to use that money and just keep paying it every month. But it was a game that I played for a little minute just to help to increase my credit score. And it worked. The next is pay down the balances. The higher the balance for your card, if you have a $5,000 credit limit and you're maxed out, that's definitely not good. That is being reported to the bureaus, or $4,995, it's not good. But if you have a $5,000 credit limit and they're only showing maybe 30% or less of that card balance being used, that is a good thing. So paying down the card balances, that's also going to help to increase your credit score. The next thing you can do to increase your credit score is to request a credit limit increase. Now, check with your card company. Some of them do a soft credit pull. That is fine. You don't want to do anything that's going to be a hard credit pull if it especially is not going to benefit you and they are going to decline you, because those inquiries, they can also pull points from your credit score. So you have to be careful about the credit that you are applying for, how much you're applying for in a short period of time. And usually a lot of requests for credit, especially credit cards, in a short period of time, or loans, it does not look good and it pulls your score down. So requesting a credit limit increase, if you have a credit card that's, again, $5,000 credit limit and it's close to being maxed out or it's maxed out, check with that card issuer to see what the requirements are to request a credit limit increase. And if it's not something that you feel is going to pull your score down and you think that you have a good chance of getting that credit limit increase, then do that. And if you get that increase, that is going to help to show that you have more credit available than that which is being used, and that's going to also help to increase your credit score. But be careful, because you're working on increasing your credit score, so you do not want to get that money available to you and then max your card out more, because that's going to just jack up your credit utilization and that's going to decrease your score. All right, so we already know that credit reports can have errors, and I'll be honest, there's not a whole lot of errors that it's going to have on your credit report, but there definitely can be errors. I'm not saying that they're not, but check your credit report for errors. And if there are issues where you've had some missed payments or different things like that, reach out to that company and see if you can negotiate to have that updated, because what is it going to hurt them? You may encounter someone that says, I'm sorry, that's legally binding. We can't report that it wasn't late when it indeed was. Sometimes it just depends on the person that you speak to. Somebody could be you really don't know. Somebody could be having a piss poor day and they haven't been receiving any breaks, so they just feel like, well, why am I going to give you a break? I don't know you. I'm having a bad day and you were late, so I ain't changing it. I mean, you just never know who you're going to encounter. Sometimes it's who you speak to. It's not that it cannot be updated. It's just that that person chooses not to update it, but you can reach out to someone else. How many other people are working in that company? So don't give up. See if you can negotiate to get those things updated. If you have collections on your account, I don't recommend paying collections, but if it's something that you know that you got the money, let's just be honest, you know you got the money, but you just had some issues and you fell in some hard times, negotiate with them. I had it happen. No shame there. I had it happen. I had a loan, a small loan for my business. Actually, I had a couple. I had a line of credit with BB&T, which is now Truist Bank. And it was crazy, and it wasn't my fault, but I had a line of credit and the monthly payments were about $230 something a month. I didn't use it a whole lot, but when I was going through what I was going through, I used it, and then it got to the point where it was maxed out. So I was just making the minimum payments. Well, they rewarded me by shutting off my line of credit and saying that I had to pay the full balance immediately. And they just said, this line of credit has matured. This type of product, it doesn't stay open continuously. You would need to reapply, and I didn't qualify because my credit was going through some issues at that time. So they not only said I needed to pay the full balance, but they decided to send it off to collections. So this company was like, well, yeah, you owe $25,000. I said, look, I ain't got it. And I didn't. I said, I don't have it. And two, I was making the payments, but they chose to close the line of credit. So that really isn't my fault. Is there any way we can negotiate this? I'll be willing to pay half of the 25, even though I owe the 25 because it's what I use. I said I would be willing to negotiate for half, and I would make monthly payments for a year to pay it off. They said they need to check on it and they would get back with me. They came back and said, yeah, we'll do that. We set the offer. They sent me the document to sign, to agree to it, and that's where we're at. So I negotiated. most things, especially when it comes to debt that's written off, it is negotiable. So just make sure that it's something that you are willing to negotiate before just reaching out to these collection agencies, because you don't want something that's going to like ramp the clock back up and start time over, because after 7 years, those are dropped from your credit report anyway. So again, you just have to see if it's something worth your time or worth your credit to even try to negotiate. All right, the next is leave old accounts open. Credit history is one of the things that is really major for your credit score as well. So if you have a credit card that you just don't use, but you've had it for over 7 years or it's been several years, don't close it. Use it. Use it for things that you are going to be getting anyway. If you're driving, you have to get gas, or just things that you paying a utility bill, using it for one thing and just using that cash that you normally would have used to pay for those items or that service or system or whatever it is, and pay that on that credit card. That will show the company that you are using the card, and it will be reported to the credit bureau that you're paying that off every month, again, before that statement date closes, and that's going to help to increase your credit score as well. The next is, don't over apply for credit. Only apply for credit when you know you really need it and in a limited fashion. I said this previously, but I'll say it again. You don't want to apply for a lot of credit cards and loans in a short period of time. Now, if you're purchasing a house or even a car, but I would mainly say if you're purchasing a house, make sure you have your financing first before you even start to look for that house. So you don't want to go to a lot of different places, but normally, if you have a number of different mortgage companies as inquiries on your credit report during that short period of time, they mainly are going to look at those different inquiries as one, because it is for the same thing. You were just shopping around for the best company to suit your needs. But I would say definitely if you're purchasing a car, be careful with that. You don't want to have a lot of different companies looking at that for a car loan. Get your financing before you even go to the car lot, the dealership, Carvana they have online now, and those different types of things like that. But being careful about all of those hard credit pulls, because they can decrease your credit score. So just be careful about how much credit you apply for and do it in a limited fashion. Next is look for things that are going to help to increase your credit score. Now, something that I got, and it has definitely helped me, it is a debit card that helps to build your credit score, and it uses the money that's already in your account. So basically, the company is called Extra, and what they will do is it will link to the bank account of your choice, and based on the amount of money that you have in your account at that time, they will give you what your limit for spending is. And so you use that card for your gas or whatever you're going to use it for, like a debit card, but it's a debit card, but they are going to report it to the credit bureaus as credit. So the charge that you do today, they draft it from your account the next day, and then it goes back to that card. So when they report to the credit bureaus, it gives you a healthy new credit account. And after a few weeks, they raise your credit limit. And it's, again, not credit, it's based on the money that is in your checking account. So it absolutely is worth it. So you can check out the link for that. It is in the description box. I use it. It has definitely helped me, and I do highly recommend it. And finally, don't overpay for credit repair. Credit repair, there are people that are legitimate that can help you to dispute things or to negotiate things or to get things that you know is just outright not fair removed from your credit report. And there are definitely illegitimate people out here who are just out for the buck, who are there to really take your money. And yeah, they may have helped some people to raise their credit score, but they don't tell you about the people who had things put back on their credit reports because it was just momentarily. And then you're out hundreds or thousands for some people of dollars that you have paid someone that didn't really help you in any real way. So you have to really be careful about paying people for credit repair. So guys, those are just some truthful tips from me based on my personal experience and business experience of some things that I have gone through. But if you really take these tips and you work on it, you are going to see a change. Unfortunately, credit repair, credit score increases, they don't happen overnight. The credit bureaus update things on a monthly basis. So therefore, your credit score is only going to go up once a month anyway. And unless something drastic changes, then it is rare that it's going to go up a drastic amount of points in that short period of time. It is possible, but I never like to lie to people. And there are some people out there who are selling people's dreams and visions of grandeur when it just really isn't that way. It really isn't true. So guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section. And again, I am Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, here to share the Bible that is business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until the next time, I hope you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.